Will Canon be releasing 2 new tilt-shift lenses with autofocus? And will that new drive mechanism, well, will it change the relationship between the tilt mechanism and focusing, changing tilt-shift forever? Details coming up, but first, please do me a favor. Follow me on Twitter, subscribe, share, choose all notifications, like, comment, and all that good stuff. It's greatly appreciated. It's greatly appreciated and really does help this channel grow. Last week, Canon rumor said that 2 tilt-shift lenses are in the hands of a select group of photographers. Now, Craig is referring to the TSR 14mm f4 L series and the 24mm f3.5, also an L series. Tilt-shift lenses have been out for an awful long time. I mean, it's not really a new technology, but we don't have any tilt-shift lenses released on the RF mount. When Canon releases RF equivalents of previous EF lenses, usually what happens is a combination of the following. They're going to be lighter or, well, have a different size, more compact. They'll have better optics, or they might even have new capabilities. And some lenses just focus on 1 or 2 of these and some deliver all. And what we're hearing is based on some patent applications, we might be getting tilt shift with autofocus in either of these 2 lenses that are due to be out sometime in 2023. Tilt shift lenses have been out for many years, many decades, but we don't have any for the, well, Canon RF mount. We do have some tilt lenses, but no tilt shift lenses, nothing at a high quality, high grade level. But we do have many rumors of tilt shift lenses that are supposed to be coming out for the RF mount, and these go all the way back to late 2020 when Canon rumor said we're getting a pair of tilt shift lenses, the very same ones that we're hearing about today. So what could be about these new lenses that could change photography forever, at least regarding tilt-shift technology? So what is it about these 2 new tilt-shift lenses from Canon that could really change everything, at least when it comes to tilt-shift photography? Well, it's about adding autofocus to tilt-shift. And if you don't know tilt-shift, you might think, yes, so what? We've got autofocus in all our lenses, and that's all we want. We want third-party lenses with autofocus. But when it comes to tilt-shift, it's all about manual focusing. Adding autofocus to the lens really changes the relationship between the tilt mechanism and the focusing and how it all works, how it delivers results. And to explain the relationship between the tilt mechanism and focusing and how it might change things forever, well, it's a rather complicated and detailed story, but it really shouldn't be. So I've asked my friend Keith Cooper from Northlight Images to explain the relationship further and how this could change things. Keith, I understand you've been getting an awful lot of questions regarding the new tilt-shift lenses, new patent applications, and how autofocus could really impact and change the relationship between not only the tilt-shift mechanism and focusing, but how we as photographers that use tilt-shift, well, how it could change that trend, how it could deliver different results and change the experience.
Quite a few people have asked me about the rumoured new Canon tilt-shift lenses. That's 14mm and 24mm for the RF mount. Now, the reason a lot of people ask me is because I test a lot of tilt-shift lenses, right from big old things like this through to the Canon range. And the Canon have got quite a range, but they're all EF mount. There's nothing in RF mount. So this is a 24mm. And I use this a lot. There's a 17mm, there's several other focal lengths as well. What's so special about these rumoured lenses? Well, 14mm is quite wide, it's useful. 24mm, I use it a lot. It would be nice to see a replacement for this, possibly with better optics, particularly when shifted. But the bit people ask me about is autofocus. Why would you bother having autofocus on a tilt-shift lenses? These are renowned for being fully manual. So you focus manually, you adjust the shift, you adjust the tilt. Everything is done manually on these lenses, much the same way as you would on this huge great 5x4 camera here, or any of these adapted lenses or anything else. What does tilt do and how does autofocus make it? Well, obviously as a normal lens with no shift, no tilt on it, autofocus is just like any other autofocus. It does that. But the key thing about tilt shift lenses, the tilt section of it, is that when you tilt the lens, the plane of focus shifts. So normally you have a plane of focus flat in front of you. When you tilt the lens, that shifts. Now, how that shifts depends on the settings of the focus ring of the lens and the tilt. The two work together. There's no simple relationship between them. So if you're going to have autofocus on a tilt shift lens, what about the tilt mechanism? Well, Canon a few years ago had a patent which showed a motorized drive for the tilt and the focus. That's great. That would allow you to set it. Now, I'm going to be really curious as to how they managed to design a user interface to this. It is not easy explaining how tilt works and how to use it effectively. Now, the patent here just shows the mechanisms. One other thing they might well include in new lenses is actual EXIF data saying how much shift and how much tilt has been applied. That would allow for lens correction far easily. You can do lens correction very easily on modern lenses, but the moment you shift or tilt them, it throws most ways of doing that. Can be done, but yeah, it's a problem with it. So it would be nice to see that as well as the autofocus. Now, the patent here shows that. A second patent goes so far as to show an actual physical mechanism and also a display on the back of a camera indicating how this might be explained to people to use. Now, as I said, I do a lot of testing of tilt-shift lenses. I've written a book on the subject, which means I'm really curious as to how they're going to use this. Tilt is difficult to explain. It takes a bit of working, so I should be really curious if these really are, if the bit of the room about autofocus and we see any of these aspects of motorized control in the lenses. If they appear, as much as anything, I'm going to be curious to see how they expect people to use it. There are lots of things you can do with autofocus, so you can have the plane of focus shift. So if you're shooting video and you want to change your plane of focus during the video, you can just do that. How that's going to be done, I've no idea. Of course, these are only rumoured lenses and real products may exist in a very different form to rumoured ones. Anyway, there you go. That's what a lot of people have been asking me about. I have done a longer video that looks at tilt, shift, all the things like this, and in particular why 14mm is not as ludicrously wide as you think it might be. So there you go.
Thank you, Keith. And if you'd like to delve deeper into the topic of tilt shift, please visit and subscribe to Keith Cooper's channel, his YouTube channel. He published a video earlier today going deep into tilt shift, Canon's new lenses, and why you'd want autofocus on a tilt shift lens and how it absolutely changes everything. And Keith, thank you very much for joining me on this channel once again, for collaborating with me. And if you're not a subscriber of Keith Cooper's channel, then please go ahead and do so. He covers not only Canon rumors, but also, well, printers, Canon printers. And if you want to stay up to date on all the latest news and rumors, then go ahead and subscribe and choose all notifications. I cover all the major camera brands, all the major camera rumors, all here in one spot. And don't forget to choose all notifications, so as soon as I publish a video like this one here, well, you'll get notified, so that way you can stay up to date on all the latest camera news and rumors. And if you want to stay up to date on all the minor camera news and rumors, then go ahead and follow me on Twitter at this address here. I got a lot of questions last week about why on earth I didn't cover the story that in the latest firmware update for the Canon EOS R5C, which many people thought, wow, where's the love here? We didn't get a lot of details in it. Well, there was one thing hidden in that firmware update that triggered something over at Netflix, and that's that the R5C is now Netflix approved. Now, I didn't put out a separate video because, well, for one thing, I was super busy with other things going on. I just published an April 1st video about, well, the Canon EOS R1, a 102 megapixel camera that's capable of 12K video. And don't get too excited because it was published on April 1st, so you know what that tells you about the video. But I spent about 2 weeks putting this together, thanks to Sony Alpha Rumors for helping me out with generating one of the images, and for Angelbird for Angelbird for providing me with a prop, a CF Express Type C, not B, a Type C card. So thank you very much. But the point I'm trying to get to is I didn't put out a separate video because I just didn't have the time, and I didn't think it was, well, significant enough. There wasn't any other information other than saying, hey, you know what? The R5C is now Netflix approved. So I tweeted that out. So if you want to stay up to date on all the latest camera news and rumors, including the minor ones, then follow me on Twitter, but also don't forget to subscribe to this channel. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you again soon.